this is Jenny with your weekly energy forecast for the week starting July 20th and running through July 26th. If you are new to my channel, I'm a practicing shaman and I do energy readings and help people get in touch with their animal spirit guides. Speaking of animals, if you can hear a little noise in the background, that would be my 2 guinea pigs. I am filming this video while they are having their daily playtime session on the floor, and they are gnawing at one of their boxes. So if you hear a little of that in the background, that's just 2 very playful piggies. So I hope you've had a great week and that you were able to take advantage of this wonderful energy of self-care that came up this past week. When we have a reading that speaks so clearly on that topic, it is typically with the one purpose of achieving balance. And the overall card that came up this week has to do with balance. In the Herbal Tarot that I use, the card is called the Medicine Wheel. And the Medicine Wheel is the Native Americans' sacred symbol that honors the 4 directions and the cycles of life. These type of constructions, these type of wheels have been found atop mountain peaks throughout the world, so that tells you just how important this symbol is in native cultures. So medicine wheels are used for prayers and meditations and as symbols of bringing down to earth the sacred power of heaven. Typically a large stone is placed in the middle, and that stone represents the Great Spirit that is in everything. The outer stones then typically represent the 4 directions and the cycles of the seasons along with the cycles of life. On this particular card, we have the slippery elm tree placed in the middle or in the center of the wheel. But again, it symbolizes the Great Spirit that is in everything, that gives us strength and energy, comfort also to overcome everything and to move on in life. So the medicine wheel basically represents the cycles and the turning points in our lives, and it asks us to be open to changes. If we should lose our way, we are asked to move back to the center, to where the tree stands, and there we will find stability and spiritual nourishment. So this is a card that invites change. It invites us to see new perspectives. It asks us to welcome change, but the key here is that we need to be open to it. So all of that self-care you did last week, all of this meditation you might have done to figure out what your next steps are, they are now ready to be put into practice, to be realized somehow. So this is a card about being open to change. In the traditional tarot, this card is called the Wheel of Fortune. Here we also have the 4 elements represented in each corner, and notice that all of those symbols are holding books, and that also indicates that you have to be open, you have to be ready to receive new wisdom and new knowledge. The Wheel of Fortune is in constant motion, so it invites us to embrace change, to be open for any type of change that might come, and also to be willing to recognize it. So the overall energy this week is one of change, one where we have to be open to change, we have to walk into the week with our hearts open and be willing to receive this guidance towards change that will come our way this week. So the crystal I have been guided to work with this week is aragonite. This of course comes in little tumbled stones also, but I have decided to show you one of my raw stones This crystal is one that I keep on my altar or my sacred space, where I also burn my herbs and do other shamanic rituals. So this is a very important crystal to me. Here you can also see just how much it shines and how beautiful it is. Aragonite is a crystal that supports meaningful development. And to me, when I'm working with this stone, I find that it is meaningful development in all areas of life. That's why it's such an important crystal to me. So it can be spiritually, it can be emotionally, it can be practically in your life also. But it supports meaningful development. It also aids you when you are overwhelmed by too many impressions or by too many choices, also by too many tasks. Maybe there are many people who are trying to get you to do different things for them. So if you feel overwhelmed by that, this crystal can support you. It can limit that feeling of stress that all of that can give you. For an empath like me, it is a wonderful stone because it can help me tune out some of the feelings that I can be bombarded with all the time. Feelings from other people that can sometimes overwhelm me. This crystal can help keep that at bay. So it's a great crystal to work with if you have to keep a clear mind and thereby keeping yourself and your heart open to the change that is coming. So Aragonite is the crystal for this week. So let's see what messages our spirit guides have for us this week. I will be using a deck I haven't used in these videos before, and this is called the Mystical Shaman Oracle. So let's see what comes up. I haven't used it in a while, so the shuffling might take a bit longer than usual. Here we have our first perspective. Our second perspective. And our third perspective. So our first card here is called the Upper World. For those of you who follow my channel every week, you might remember that I have talked about the difference between the lower world and the upper world before. In shamanic traditions, these are two spirit realms that we travel to when we do our shamanic journeying. And you should never confuse this with this Christian idea about heaven and hell, because it has nothing to do with that. The upper world is where you can find angels and ancestors and ascended masters and spirit guides like that. And the lower world is where you contact your power animals. So it's simply two different spirit realms that we travel to, and whatever guides we meet have equally valuable lessons for us. So this week we are encouraged to contact our spirit guides from the upper world. That means if you work with angels or ascended masters, you are being encouraged this week to reach out for them, for guidance. So this is a week where change is in focus. Medicine wheels are also symbols of prayers and meditations. So change is in focus, and you need to reach out to your guides to figure out where your next steps should take you. So these cards are very much in line with each other, because here we have the elm tree that is symbolic of the great spirit that we have in everything. So it looks like a very spiritual week coming up for us here, where we are being asked to meditate and to reach out to our spirit guides. So our second perspective here is the staff. And this is a card of authority. It holds the power to control the extremes, to temper them, if you will. So in other words, this is a card that can help you find balance. You can feel caught in a certain situation where you feel pulled in different directions. You can feel caught between the masculine and the feminine energies, and you can have trouble finding your balance and figure out where exactly you are meant to go. The staff can help you find that authority within yourself that makes you stand your ground, that makes you stand firm. So this card can aid you in using the energy of the medicine wheel or the wheel of fortune to an end that is the best outcome for you. So this card invites you to trust in your inner wisdom, to trust in the guidance that you are receiving, but also to put that guidance into action. So you're not just supposed to sit back and listen this week to what your guides are telling you. You're not just supposed to be introspective and passive. You're actually supposed to take action steps this week. So that's a little different from the energy we had last week. If you watched that video where we had the seahorse card, that has come up in our last two readings, that kind of invited us to take a step back and let the world go by and watch a little. This card invites us to take action, that now the time has come to trust in this new wisdom that we have found, and to trust in the guidance that we hear and put it into action. And then it's very interesting that we have the Heart of Sky as our last perspective this week, because this is the love force of the universe. So this card tells you that all action you take has to come from a place of love. It comes up in a reading when you have to be reminded that you hold this ancient force of creation within you. As long as you create your new original ideas from a place of love, you carry the energy of the Creator within you. It also reminds you that because the energy of love is universal and we all carry it within us, maybe it is time for you to reach out to others, not necessarily do it all yourself or try to find all of the answers yourself, but reach out to others. Maybe add to your knowledge about spiritual things. Read a book. Seek knowledge in loving places. Seek knowledge from sources of love, so that you can also expand on your own understanding of where you're supposed to go next. So these two cards here have a very similar message for us. We are being invited this week to reach out to our spirit guides from the upper world, angels, ascended masters, ancestors. And we're being asked to do that so that we can get in touch with this universal love energy that is the Great Spirit, the great creator of everything. That energy is what this wheel celebrates. So 2 cards here that have messages for us about the great creator energy of love that is everywhere. But then remember the energy of the staff, that we have to move with confidence. We have to trust that we have that inner strength, that we have that inner balance to take us forward. But we're definitely being asked to reach out to our spirit guides this week and to open our hearts to the messages they have for us. So very much a week that has to do with our soul journey. So maybe we do still need to step back from the world if that energy of our physical world is preventing us from listening to our inner guides. Maybe that staff confidence is supposed to take us into ourselves more than it is an invitation to take physical action. But the card holds both options. So whatever your guides tell you when you listen to them, that's how you're supposed to apply this energy of the staff. I hope that made sense. I'm also going to be pulling a card from my Spirit Animal Oracle. So let's see what comes up for us this week. And the card that came up for us this week is the Swan energy again. The Swan Spirit. This has come up in quite a few readings of mine this year. And this is an invitation to see the beauty around you. Again, I have to remind you of the story of the ugly duckling that transforms from something gray and clumsy into this white, beautiful animal. So when the Swan Spirit comes up, it wants to teach you that there is beauty in everything. Even hardships that you are going through right now might be steps that you need to take, might be part of a journey towards a beautiful transformation that you just can't see at the moment. The Swan also comes up if you have been too busy, if you have been too preoccupied to notice the beauty around you. It can also be if we have gone through a period with a lot of ugliness, where a lot of ugly things have surfaced, both in the community, in the collective, but also privately in your family. Maybe you have had a lot of arguments, or maybe a lot of ugliness has just been brought to the surface in many ways. Then the Swan comes up and reminds you that that can be necessary steps before everything is transformed into beauty again. This is a very light-hearted animal spirit. It has a very profound mission on Earth, but it approaches change from a light-hearted perspective and can really help you see beauty in everything. The sole mission of the Swan Spirit is to help us get through necessary transformations. So it can also help you open up your ears so that you can actually hear what is being told to you from the upper world this week, and so that you can also navigate this wheel in the right way so that you find balance. So the Swan Spirit has a very powerful and very necessary soul mission. It is here to aid us in our listening skills and also to help us see that beauty is everywhere, and that even situations that appear ugly to you right now, they carry beauty within them because they can lead to the necessary change. They can help you find the courage and the strength to take the next steps. So the swan really belongs somewhere in the middle here. Because the swan can help you listen, but it can also help you see that your current situation, even though it's ugly, is something you can change by using your own inner strength. And then it's also directly tied in to the heart of the sky, because the swan spirit is also a spirit of love. It encourages change from a loving perspective. So a very interesting week, I must say. A week where you can expect your spirit guides to be very active. And with that I mean that they will be actively trying to make you hear them. So look out for signs this week. Look out for feathers or coins that you might find when you are out walking. Look out for cardinals again. The cardinal was our animal last week and can be a messenger from beyond. Basically, this is a week where you need to listen. It feels to me like this is a week where you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot about your soul journey and your soul mission and what you are supposed to do next. And remember, you can use aragonite to find clarity if you struggle with that. So I have already mentioned the plant that we have depicted in this week's card, and that is the slippery elm tree. And the medicinal properties of slippery elm have a lot to do with balance. It is an herb that is often recommended for women if they need to balance their cycle. Slippery elm has properties that can help there. But spiritually, it is also an herb that can give you the strength and the encouragement to move through these changing cycles of life. So the spiritual property of slippery elm has a lot to do with balance also, and it can nurture your confidence. Again, remember, I'm no doctor, so always make sure you consult your physician before you follow any of my advice on herbal remedies. So that was the reading for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you would like a private reading with me, please write the email address that you see in the video description or visit my Etsy shop. Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!